It's the Pacers in Indianapolis. As we bring you an Eastern Conference contest. Kevin Harlan here with Clark Kellogg as we bring you the NBA on 2K Sports. And now Washington's starting group. John Wall and Gilbert Arenas pairing up in the backcourt. Nick Young is out there with Howard and McGee. And for the Pacers, Collison is out there with Tyler Hansbrough. Then there's Danny Granger. Then it's Roy Hibbert and George. And for the Pacers, a 32-50 record overall last season, number 10 in the Eastern Conference.
Not what they expected, Kevin, but at home, the Pacers did end up 23-18.
And Indiana has possession. Hibbert inside, working on Howard. Collison, the pass to Hansbrough. Pass to Granger. Clock at 4. One on the clock. They couldn't beat the buzzer. That's a turnover. Earlier, our Doris Burke spoke with head coach Jim O'Brien. And Doris, what'd you find out?
Kevin, he said at their own end of the court, it's interior defense that coach thinks will be their biggest asset. With the shot blockers they have, no easy baskets is their mantra today. They want to send a few back at him, Kevin.
Thanks, Doris. So defense is the key early on.
You know, it's not surprising, Kevin, when you think about the great team. So much of their game planning really starts at the defensive end of the floor.
Young for 3, and the rebound goes to Collison.
Collison didn't make much noise until January of last season, but boy, did he make up for it.
Here's Hibbert. Tries to save it.
Make the easy pass. That's what happens when you don't.
You look at Collison's numbers, like you were saying, 21-8 in February, 17-9 in March, 19 and almost 8 assists in April.
Boy, those are fantastic numbers. And you get the feeling, Kevin, that if he was getting more consistent minutes the first few months of last season, he could have had a real good look at Rookie of the Year. He makes such intelligent plays with the basketball. Always aware, always a threat to score.
Here's Hibbert. Indiana on D. Pass to Arenas. And Granger picks him up defensively. All alone. Shot's good from Young.
That's exactly the way you practice it. Hit the open man for the great look.
Knocked loose.
Boy, the turnovers are piling up pretty quickly here. We've seen them doing quite a bit of sloppy ball handling.
That's their 3rd turnover in this quarter. Here's Hibbert. Pass to Collison. On the breakaway, caps the break with the nasty stuff.
Excellent defense, and the steal earns them a quick bucket in transition.
Granger outside. On the mark from 16 feet out.
He's just so gifted offensively. He's a tough guy to match up with. Looks like they switched to man D here.
No good from Howard. On offense, here are the Pacers, trailing by 4. Granger outside. Over Howard. Danny Granger again. Granger's got his second bucket. Here's Wall. 2:15 left in the first quarter. Outside for Arenas. Picked up by Collison. from about 19 feet. And it's Arenas that time on the assist by Wall.
He got the ball inside, and when the D closed in, he just kicked it out to the open man. Simple, but beautiful.
Goes up. Hibbert gets the bucket.
I think this is where you want to operate. This is where you want to be taking shots from as an offense, in and around the paint.
So how fortunate are the Wizards to have landed the #1 overall pick in the offseason?
Well, they picked a nice year to be lucky in that regard, Kevin. I mean, Wall is just the kind of player that I think can take Washington and the NBA by storm and get this franchise back on track.
McGee yanks it down off the glass. Granger against Young. Over Granger. Young's shot is off.
He's had some problems finding the range here in this quarter.
Short. He's guarded by Howard. Here is Hansbrough. And it's Howard picking him up. Here's George. And it's tied up. Here's Wall. 57 seconds left in the first. Fires top of the key. And the basket good. 6 points for him. Here's Granger, trailing by 2. He's covered by Arenas. And here's Hibbert. He dishes it. Here's George. Hammers it in.
Uh-oh. A little bit of a statement made there while he hung on the rim.
That's one way to make sure the whole building knows exactly what you just did. Pass to Howard. And good with the shot. And the whistle blows for the contact and a chance for one more. The Pacers making a switch here. Foster's checked in. No good, and they don't get the three-point play. So it's Indiana now. Trailing by 2. And he drops it in on the layup.
When he gets it going like this, you've got to double team it. That's your only hope.
Pass to Arenas. Let's go with a 3. Danny Granger pulls it in. McGee gets called for the reach. That is his first foul of the game. Here comes Darren Collison. Still looking to get on the scoreboard. Granger outside. Tie game and some big points being put up on the board. Clark as we wrap up the first. Close game here at the start of the second quarter of play. And it's Washington's ball. So on the floor for Washington. John Wall and Gilbert Arenas pairing up in the backcourt. Howard is out there with Nick Young and McGee. Now here's Arenas. Jacks up the triple. Again, the miss by Arenas. Looking at Danny Granger, a great wing player taken out of New Mexico. Oh, and the jam by Granger.
That dunk made a statement right there.
Now, putting on a show, Clark. Such an impressive move. Clark, when you talk about the Washington Wizards, a team in turmoil last season.
Well, they traded away the number 5 pick trying to make a run at playoff dominance. It actually all fell apart, Kevin, due to injuries, legal troubles for Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton. They've got work to do.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
Hey, Kevin, well, point guard John Wall out of Kentucky, the #1 overall pick for the Washington Wizards. Coach Flip Saunders said, I've always said point guards aren't made, they're delivered from heaven. For us to get to the level we want and win a championship, it starts with that position. I've had a lot of great point guards, but I think he's going to be the best. Guys, a pretty powerful endorsement of this rookie, especially when you consider he coached Chauncey Billups.
High praise, Doris. Thanks. And it was clear, Clark, that the team was not going to contend in the East. The Wizards ended up dumping their big contracts and going into rebuilding mode.
And I think that was the right move. I mean, you have to cut your losses at some point. The rebuilding process got a huge lift in the draft lottery. And the #1 pick, John Wall, I think he's going to be a star.
And a change here for the Pacers. Here's Jones. No points for him. Down low. Short. And he dunks that one in.
One hand, two hands. This guy's so good, he might be able to dunk it with no hands.
I knew you were going there. Hey, from that position, he's always going to find a way to throw that thing down. Here's Young. Arenas up top. Takes a three. And another miss by Washington.
You got to expect more out of him here. He's had a lot of difficulty this quarter, which in turn is making it difficult for them to cut into this deficit at all.
Here's George. No luck. And Washington will go the other way. The tray. Blocked. Lays out. Both teams deciding to change it up. And Indiana has possession. They haven't allowed any points in the second quarter. The dump off. He's picked up by Heinrich. Deflects the pass. Wizards trail by 4. To end the drought, Hansbrough snatches it inside. Pacers leading by 4. Court is whistled for reaching in. That is his first foul of the game. Here's Hansbrough, up high and down hard.
That's right, fella. Don't be afraid to power it down.
Yeah, Clark, a good camper at the end of that play. From deep. The shot by Heinrich no good. It's 1-on-1. Here's George. Takes it up. Connects from in close. 10 points for him. Got a piece of it. Here is Heinrich.
Get the perimeter! Get the perimeter!
From deep.
Well, you have to like how this defense is playing here in the first half. I mean, off to a very good, focused, intense start. They're really playing with a lot of energy, and that's what defense is. It's energy, it's focus, and it's intensity.
Washington on D. In the second quarter, held scoreless. Here's George. And 2 free throws coming up as the whistle blows. He barely missed that one. The Pacers finished last season at 32-50, not really in the playoff mix as the season wrapped up.
No, it was over fairly early for the Pacers as far as the playoffs go, and they did a little better against the Eastern Conference opponents, however, 23-29.
Now here's Heinrich, looking for his first bucket of the game. Young against Collison, and another miss by Washington.
They can't seem to put the brakes on this run. They desperately need to jumpstart their offense, and soon.
Here's Granger. Arenas with the rebound.
You know, speaking of Danny Granger, he's a big-time video gamer. So if you're playing online, you never know. It could be him you're playing against.
Young from outside. Good. 5 points in the game. Granger up top, guarded by Heinrich. George, guarded by Heinrich. Pass to Collison. Just 4 to shoot. Indiana needs to get a shot off. With 1 second left, another miss by Granger. Well, you mentioned it with Granger, Clark. I know you play video games. How often you play?
Well, you don't know me that well because I don't get out and play too much, Kevin. I actually listen to my boys play the video games. They're the gamers in our house.
I like that explanation.
He's really struggled to get into any kind of comfortable flow here. Zero points this quarter, and he really doesn't look like himself out there.
So it's Indiana now. They've led by as much as 10. Hibbert, he's covered by Arenas. George. Kirk Heinrich with the rebound.
Can't D up a layup any better than that. Nice work.
Off the mark with the 3-ball. Here's George. Can't get it to go. And so we wrap up the first half. Back in a moment from Indianapolis.
And it's been a great basketball game going on in Indianapolis. Now time for HP at the half.